Welcome to this video on the most difficult polity questions for the RRB NTPC graduate level examination in 2025. The landmark case establishing judicial review is Marbury v. Madison in 1803. DFCCIL was established under the Companies Act 1956. Over 730 scheduled tribes are notified under Article 342 as of December 2022. The Panchayat Samiti is not a village-level component of Panchayati Raj. The Supreme Court dismissed a plea related to the constitutional validity of adding, quote, socialist and secular to the preamble. Recent PMLA rulings allow bail for prolonged incarceration without trial and emphasize the need and necessity of arrest. A state cooperative law inconsistent with the 97th Amendment can remain in force for 1 year. A birth certificate is not required under CAA 2019 for Indian citizenship. The Jan Vishwas Act's objective is to convert minor offenses from criminal to civil penalties. India follows jus sanguinis, or citizenship by blood, more strictly after the 2003 amendment. And Article 344 mentions the Official Language Commission. In the Aligarh Muslim University case, institutions created before 1950 can retain minority status. The Mediation Act, 2023, replaces arbitration and conciliation with mediation as the sole dispute resolution method. The Permanent Lok Adalat handles cases up to 1 crore rupees, and the Gram Sabha is the foundation of the Panchayati Raj system. The right to appeal is not an advantage of a Lok Adalat. Eviction of a child or relative is not mandatory in every case of neglect under the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act. Article 51D directs states for the settlement of international disputes by arbitration. Federal dispute jurisdiction is advisory, while writ jurisdiction is binding. The Recorder's Court was later replaced by the Supreme Court. The Town Area Committee manages small towns with limited municipal functions. A chief judicial magistrate can award a maximum of 7 years imprisonment. The Supreme Court ruled that the governor cannot withhold assent after a bill is repassed by the legislature, and used Article 142 to deem 10 pending bills as having received assent. The governor can extend judicial service rules to magistrates under Article 237. The Central Pollution Control Board was strengthened in 2024 to enforce environmental regulations. The National Development Council recommended a national policy on cooperatives in 1958. Judicial review of judicial appointments is not a category classified by Justice Syed Shah Mohammed. 111 national waterways have been declared for development. Article 323 mandates the Union Public Service Commission to present its report annually to the President. The chairman is the political head of the municipality in India. Article 37 deals with the application of the directive principles of the state policy. Small causes court decisions are final, but subject to High Court's revision. The National Human Rights Commission includes a chairperson and 5 members full-time. Deletion of existing taxation principles without ensuring continuity and usability is not a change in the new income tax bill. The State Finance Commission reviews the finances of urban local government bodies. The Immigration and Foreigners Bill 2025 repealed the Foreigners Act 1946. A dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu over water sharing is excluded from the Supreme Court's original jurisdiction. Section 23 of the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act allows tribunals to cancel a property transfer if basic amenities are not provided. A child's evidence is admissible if found voluntary, reliable, and untutored. The Broadcast Services Regulation Bill 2023 aims for unified regulation of cable, satellite, and OTT platforms. The current Chief Minister of J&K contested from Ganderbal, representing the Jammu and Kashmir National Conference, JKNC. The Assam Accord is linked to the Citizenship Amendment Act, 1985. Puducherry was added to India by the 14th Amendment Act, 1962. The 44th Constitutional Amendment Act, 1978, addresses the minimization of inequalities as a directive principle and explicitly inserted the term cabinet in the context of Article 352. The Directorate General of Civil Aviation regulates civil aviation infrastructure. An award made by a Lok Adalat has the same status as a civil court. The primary function of a notified area committee is to manage developing towns due to get a municipality status. Article 43B was added to the directive principles of state policy by the 97th Constitutional Amendment. The 65th Amendment Act of 1990 introduced a multi-member national commission for SC/ST welfare. The Lokpal and Lokayukta Act came into force on the 16th of January 2014. The Chief Minister of Jharkhand after the 2024 elections belongs to JMM and represents Barhat constituency. Nyaya Panchayats also have the power of managing village agriculture, besides resolving disputes. The audit report of an apex cooperative society is presented to the state legislature. 6 religious communities are covered under the 2019 Citizenship Amendment Act. Article 51A mentions the fundamental duty of defending the country. The concept of Lok Adalat draws inspiration from ancient Indian dispute resolution. Cooperative societies are classified under the state list of the Indian Constitution. The case of UNR Rao versus Indira Gandhi 1971 ruled that the Council of Ministers does not cease to hold office after the dissolution of the Lok Sabha. The president can summon a joint sitting for an ordinary bill. The 6th schedule allows for village councils or courts for tribal cases. Poor quality of functioning prompted changes in the State Cooperative Societies Act. As per the Union Budget 2025-26, the total number of Gram Panchayats in India is 2.68 lakh. The incorrect statement about fundamental rights is that these are absolute. A foreigner residing in India for 12 years can acquire citizenship by naturalization. High courts can issue writs for purposes beyond fundamental rights, unlike the Supreme Court. Article 41 directs states to make provision for public assistance in cases of unemployment. Prior to 1992, local governments had a statutory status under state law. A minister of state with independent charge functions as if in cabinet rank with full independent responsibility for that portfolio. The Waqf Amendment Act 2025 added Muslim women to boards. Article 51AI mentions the fundamental duty of safeguarding public property. Citizenship provisions came into effect on November 26, 1949. Article 351 promotes the spread and development of Hindi. The 40th Amendment Act 1976 brought territorial waters and EEZ under Parliament's legislative jurisdiction. The Union Cabinet's advice to the President is binding. The Legal Services Authorities Act was amended in 2002 to establish permanent Lok Adalats for public utility service disputes. Article 38 directs the state to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare. Article 30 permits minorities based on language to establish educational institutions. The 48th Amendment Act did not amend anything in the directive principles of the state policy. Article 13 explicitly declares laws violating fundamental rights as the President may ask the Prime Minister only once to reconsider an executive recommendation. Article 15 prohibits discrimination against the use of public amenities like wells and tanks. Lok Adalat proceedings are conciliatory. According to Article 246, Parliament has exclusive powers over subjects in the Union list. Reward for loyalty in ministerial selection refers to recognizing long-standing support. The cutoff date for migrants under the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019 was December 31, 2014. Laws under Articles 2 and 3 require a simple majority in the Indian Parliament. As per Article 4, the term judicial service refers to district judges and civil judicial posts below them. The Waqf Amendment Act 2025 mandates at least 2 Muslim women on Waqf boards. In India, judicial review is the judiciary's power to pronounce upon the constitutionality of laws and executive orders. In the 2025 Delhi Legislative Assembly elections, the BJP won the majority after 27 years, securing 48 seats. The National Legal Services Authority, NALSA, was constituted under the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987. The Council of Ministers prepares the inaugural speech of the President of India in the 104th Constitutional Amendment Act, 2020, extended the reservation for SC/ST in the legislature. The 105th Constitutional Amendment Act reinstated the state's power to identify socially and educationally backward classes. Article 324 of the Indian Constitution states about the establishment of the Election Commission in India. The 103rd Amendment Act, 2019, allows a maximum of 10% reservation for economically weaker sections.